Okay, all I have to say is Michio Kaku sucks ass. Really. Let's play this. I'm going to turn the volume up. Hopefully this will come through.
So when we talk about life, what kind of life are we talking about? Are we talking about those avatars that we saw in the movie clip, or what?
Well, E.T. is not going to phone home anytime soon. However, we hit the jackpot on this one. Out of 500 planets that we discovered orbiting other stars, this is the first to potentially have liquid oceans, perhaps even fish, perhaps even life forms like we find on the Earth. We don't know for sure. But now this is the holy grail of astronomy, finding...
Okay, this is one of the most irresponsible statements I've ever heard someone who was introduced as possibly one of the smartest men in the world. I watched this clip from, oh, I don't know what news show it was originally from, let me see, but the thing is, they put this clip, it's probably, oh, it's Fox News, no wonder. Okay, well that explains a lot too. But, okay, there's this planet it's like 50 times the size of Earth, if I remember correctly, and they believe it to have water. And he's going to suggest that it has life forms and fish on it. Anyone who's a real scientist would laugh at this. Just because a planet has water, it might be nice to imagine life on it and go that, but if you're a responsible scientist, you're going to understand, well, we don't know what the acidity or the alkaline level of the water is. If the planet's 50 times the size of Earth, you know, there's going to be an extreme amount of pressure. If anything, you would have to have something that's more like an arthropod, not a fish. I mean, you know, it's... For him to make this kind of statement, it just shows that he's selling out to the media forces. He's selling out to... he's not being a real scientist. You know, a real scientist would not make such a projection or such a leap. I feel like Sheldon. I watched that show with all the geeks on it. Oh, Big Bang. Recently saw an episode where Sheldon and his girlfriend went to one of these... well, somebody like, you know, Michio here... give a talk, and they just were laughing at the guy because a real scientist wouldn't, you know. And now I feel, I know exactly where they're coming from. Another thing that Michio Kaku says, that if aliens were to land on Earth, that it would be really bad for us because it would probably be like the Indians. Kind of like, you know, when Columbus discovered America. And he sold this scary story. He has no idea what it would be like if aliens landed. I can postulate that as technology advances, so does civility. You can't say what the alien mentality... And that's just if you assume consciousness across the galaxy is similar. You might have aliens land who think the greatest thing to do is to hide in darkness because that's what their history tells them. The greatest thing to do is to, I don't know, cut off a piece of your body and feed it to your friend. The weird thing is, just because somebody might be an excellent scientist in astronomy, that doesn't mean that they understand sociology. It doesn't mean that they have wisdom. You know, if anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons knows that you have an intelligence score and you have a wisdom score, okay? And I know that's a real lame example. But the point that I'm making is that Michio Kaku sucks ass at being a good scientist, and he sucks ass at making these kinds of projections. If you understand what it would take, the technology and the level of advancement involved in creating any kind of vessel that could get you from one star to another, you would understand we're talking about a highly intelligent, highly reasonable form of intelligence. And to me, I think it's more than likely that, you know, they would be very respectful of other planets. But that may not necessarily be true either. So Michio Kaku's just, and he's a sellout. And I also saw him on a program that I thought was going to be about nanotechnology or something interesting and fascinating like this, and it was just a corporate It was a show basically pushing the corporatization of science. And I'll say it again, Michio Kaku sucks ass. He's one of these guys who, he's a reporter, he's not a scientist. And I also want to say saying that Dawkins sucks ass, and the guy in the wheelchair, Hawking, sucks ass. They all suck ass because they all take their level of expertise and want to project it into other areas. Robert Heinlein had once made a statement that people who are, I'm not quoting him exactly, but it was something to the effect that anyone who specializes in a certain field believes that the field they specialize in overlaps into other areas of study. The more one specializes, the more they're apt to believe this. And this is exactly what we have happening here. So, Michio Kaku sucks ass and is suspect. Dawkins is suspect and he sucks ass. And Sagan as well, Carl Sagan and Hawkins, because these all guys, they think that because they understand cosmology that they understand religion and they understand philosophy. Because you might have an idea of how the physical universe was created, that doesn't mean you have any wisdom to make statements about whether God exists or not. That's an entirely different field of study. So I'm just getting tired of these scientists who suck ass trying to tell us outside of the realm of science how reality is. Science has its limitations. Get that straight. Stop sucking ass.